position themselves for that phase 4 shift, because you have a much better ability to judge where the circle is likely to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's about being able to make those predictions, isn't it? And not only make them, but also adapt when things don't end up going your way. As I think that teams like New Happy are really good at that, and that's the reason they're thriving right now. They're able to come out and sure, they've got a set game plan right now. We're going to play a little bit split. We're going dead center. We're maximizing our chance of getting that circle. But we know that as soon as that thing goes away, they are going to be making a move. They are going to just send it towards each other and play as an absolute unit, as SSG are going to try and do exactly that now. Roth opening up the initial shots towards Na'Vi, but it doesn't seem like anything landed, and Na'Vi should be able to get this compound relatively free.
Yeah, SSG they've got decent angles on the Na'Vi, but Na'Vi's able to get across that hill before anybody's really able to get their footing and find much out of it. I'm a little bit worried about that Murado potentially for Melman, but I think it's okay for now. I don't think Oleh is going to push too much further forward. They're just going to play the side of this hill, get the info, and probably see if they can get a knock somewhere. But Oleh has got to be real careful out there on his own. And here's Donowa, like I was talking about, not too far away from this fight. They're pretty spread out. Rex is out in the open, to be frank, and that's dangerous stuff, but we'll see if they can maybe get away with it. Ghibli, this is Spear ahead of the rest of Ghibli here, looking to find out what's going on. GEX coming out from the east, is already situated on these southeastern Los Leones mountains, and yeah, Ghibli, I don't expect Spear to do much. In fact, yeah, he's just going to peel out. He doesn't want to risk getting knocked early.
No, Ghibli, a smart squad, but it seems like they set up these positions a lot of the time, and they just tend to fall apart when they matter the most, which is unfortunate, and I hope they're going to be able to turn that around. Ghibli are such a strong squad in terms of fragging power, in terms of the players on that team, and I don't think 12th position is really where they belong. I'd expect them up there a little bit more, but obviously it's hard to say, isn't it, when we're looking at these teams and we say, well, a team like Gen G shouldn't be in 14th, a team like Fury shouldn't be in 15th, but at the same time, it's the finals. It's the best of the best right now. So as much as you want to criticize a team's performance, there's not much you can do. And Danoa, well, started off pretty big. First kill for them, and nicely done onto example.
Well, Rex doing a little PO impression. Now SSR, who has been an absolute phenom for GEX, is going to get Purdy Curdy down and out. Alo stuck in a really bad position, just able to get himself underneath that hill. And GEX, this is... I tell you what, this is the best tournament I've seen GEX play. I mean, I got to give them all the credit in the world. I was telling you before, I think I've casted just about every game GEX has played this year, and this is by far the best form I've seen them in here for this. And that's a really good sign for these guys. They're veterans. A lot of them have been playing in their region for years, since basically the inception of PUBG esports, and to see them having this kind of success has been a lot of fun. That SSR spray down he had against, who was it? Was it Heroic yesterday on Miramar, the second to last game? Was absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, Heroic have just put up such a performance. And, you touched on GX, and they're a squad that have been kind of making small adjustments for the longest time now. And it feels like they're finally starting to click, and it's impressive to see. It's just a case of, are they going to be able to get up there right now? Are they going to be able to have that massive improvement that is required when we get to the later stages? We also, earlier on, did see PO pick up that MK, so always a dangerous sight to behold, especially when Gen G have a position like this off of Phase 2. You can tell they're going to be confident when that zone moves away, going in with that edge play and just getting aggressive, and PO with an MK is always a dangerous thought.
Oh, that's just the scariest thing in the world. I mean, he is. You get a Groza or an MK in his hands, and he's almost guaranteed to pick up a couple kills with it. Donowa just going to piece out a Team Liquid territory, trying to readjust Team Liquid going forward. The center rotation early here, Phase 2. You pretty much have a pretty good idea at this point that this is going to start centering up around that area anyway. So for Team Liquid, now it's a good time to group up. You're going to see a lot of teams start to group up. The only one that's making an interesting split, I think, is New Happy, but Fury kind of surrounded by SSG here, Chunks. This could be a little tricky for them.
Absolutely. Keenan's trying to open up some shots, so at least SSG are going to be aware of the position. The third party will attempt to come through from Heroic as Oldless is inside the vehicle. It doesn't look like much really going to come of it just yet. And I do worry about SSG because they're a squad that, I mean, I've got Roth over on my fantasy team, and he's died before 10 minutes a few times right now, so he's got me a little tilted and also a little concerned because that's not what you want to be doing. Dying you know, 2 or 3 times, I think it is now, before 10 minutes in the space of 5 games. That's not ideal. It looks like potentially Luke 12 going to face a similar fate, though, as Silzen is there to find himself a nice knock, and a second almost lands onto Penta.
Yeah, Penta got headshotted, so he's got to be real careful. I don't think there's any world where that grenade, even if it got through the door, was going to connect with him. So he's able to get the heal off. Halo trying to return the favor a bit onto KPI, but TSM very disjointed right now. You've got 2 in the warehouses. You've got Halo behind towards that God compound. This is going to be a little tricky here for TSM. I mean, it started off rough, losing pretty early. And to follow up into this situation, this circle very likely to head out to their west. They're probably going to have to fight their way out one way or another. And doing it this early means, you know, for TSM, it might start to be a game where you have to think about just trying to scrape together kills where you can.
Savior in a really dangerous position, as is Remba. It seems like neither of these players have their positions known. Remba, Lambu each going to be able to find themselves and not KPI now taking casualties after those initial kill points they were able to find. Silzen just nowhere to be found, and this is it. Savior just out on his own here for GEX. It's a rough one. Obviously, if his team fill in and actually make a rotate with the vehicle, Ghibli are going to have a read on it. They're going to be like, okay, there's at least one player here, maybe more, so they're going to be looking for those kills. Whereas right now, as long as Savior remains as a solo, Ghibli is seemingly going to be unaware. That'll wake him up, though. Ada going to be falling after getting caught with a pretty big spray. So Ghibli losing their first member.
That's what we like to call PUBG justice. Now, Alo here, oh, gonna have a nice spray onto Emmy, gonna take him down, but when you rat out somewhere and get kills, it seems like you're just destined to have the same thing happen to you. And oh, okay, very nicely done here by Penta, and that's going to be KPI getting kind of disjointed in this fight between TSM and Ghibli, and they're going to finish off, or excuse me, and they're going to be finished off by TSM. Now Petrichor Road looking to get involved, and Renba as well. Man, this is getting spicy early.
Yeah, Ghibli obviously already lost one. Now Remba looking to get involved onto this TSM FTX fight and wants to try and get the third party. Obviously, Alo's going to be knocked, so it will make things a little bit easier, but I think with that shift, Ghibli have realized they want to consolidate, they want to move as a team, so it's going to start running back instead, and it is a bit of a tricky shift. It's going to be very open, this circle now, so the teams that are posted up in compounds obviously have to be the favorites, but still a lot of kind of sneaky positions, ridge lines, hills that a lot of squads are going to be more than happy to work with.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't the worst part of Miramar by any stretch of the imagination. If this was more north, I'd be much, feeling a little more bad for the players because it's a lot more difficult to play. But James, he's going to find the knock on a salute and take him down. That's a big early loss for Donovan. And we talked about it earlier, Chunks. Donovan can't afford to have these mistakes if they're going to contend. Are they just going to... They're just going to settle up on the ridge. Okay, they're going to settle up on the ridge. I thought for a second there they might consider crashing this, but that would be a rather ambitious play at this point in the game.
I want to see how ambitious Liquid decide to get with it, whether they do want to get aggressive down towards Dano or not, because obviously they have themselves a nice little hillside that they could likely make something out of, but with Soul really far back, kind of providing fire support for those players that are a whole lot closer, it will make things tricky for Liquid, and it's a little bit awkward, isn't it? Obviously, we had that pre-show video, I should say, of KPI and Liquid, both kind of rivals in terms of the teams that qualified from the weekly finals, and now having both teams taking really early game fights, you hope that that rivalry will be ignited even more if Team Liquid are able to maybe find themselves a couple kill points off the bat.
Well, I think for Team Liquid in particular, there's a lot to prove. I mean, again, a team of veterans, guys who've been around since almost day one of PUBG esports, and they've like Froz was talking about in the desk, they've been second so often. I think this is really their best opportunity ever to really show the world that they can be a top team, not just a second place team. And there's that Mark 14 from PO you were talking about, and Mamu in a bit of a tricky spot, but I don't think he's been spotted out here yet because Pio has no idea. Mamu could have him dead to rights if he pulls the trigger, but Pio does have that level 3 gear. Gonna wait for the blue, see if he can find the opener here. Yeah, Pio has no idea, but Asura might just drive right by him. Oh, Mamu has to switch to the barrel. Oh, goodness, Chunks.
Oh, he has no idea. Mamu just going to be laying prone, hoping for the best. Now, he sees Pio get shot. He's going to be going for the heal, and of course, he gets that free kill. That is a deadly factor taking out the fight now. Pio with an MK, but the rest of Gen G, obviously having just rotated round, aren't going to be able to hear that. The rest of Gen G, though, want to make a fight in towards the rest of Petrogor Road. As the opening spray comes out from Aegis left, it's not going to be able to connect for the knock, but will do a decent amount of damage. So will those nades, as Aegis left with a beautiful spray to finish off Esther. He had a nade in hand, which means he's going to be getting flushed out as well. 2 players now remain from Gen G. It's Asura and Inonix, and, well, they're not really in a great position to really take this fight. The nade, though, is so close to Mings.
This was just, you know, Mamu's positioning just completely sent Gen G into disarray, and it sent him right into the waiting arms of the rest of Pero. So Mings here just going to be holding down the ice cream truck, and Aix left still going to be a thorn in the side for them. Ghibli in the meantime trying to center up a bit, and there's this ridge line that's dead center of the circle basically. Penta already here from TSM, and he is looking down into that area, trying to get some grenades, gets a little bit of damage. Now only Asura on his feet. Phase 4 blue has come, so this is the part where things get rather difficult for the players in terms of damage per second from that blue. You can see it ticks down 3 per second, and it is very, very fast. And there's Penta finding a knock, and Onyx is going to bleed out, and Gen G looking to have another early exit here.
Can't help but notice as well, Sora only got 1 first aid kit to work with. He's going to need to pop that and immediately get inside that zone, which means exposing him to Petrogor Road. But it seems like they maybe are going to be a little bit distracted as Ents try to get into this warehouse. Mill is there to open up the fire. He doesn't convert it to any knocks, but did a decent amount of damage there over onto Tixu. So he's really going to be out of the fight, forced to go for the heal, as Pero seemingly want to back off of this. And I'm not surprised with so many teams coming up behind. Fury, though, they're not backing off. 2 kills onto Kaishin to open things up.
Yeah, Yuppie here, gonna see if he can find one more. That is a headstand there on that buggy. That is gonna be Landren knocked as well here, but Flood gonna be the last one alive. No, sir, he goes down to Yuren and Kaishin. But Kaishin in tatters right now with just Yuppie, the only one on his feet. Meanwhile, Team Liquid now, after the hard shift over to the east, finds themselves on the edge of this circle and have to do some fighting. And Pero pushes down into Ents here. Mamu finds a good grenade. Ents on their last legs. Just Tixu left trying to use his teammate as cover. Doesn't able to get much out of it. He does get the peeking Mamu. Mills there for the cover. Ooh. No, it's going to be Tixu again, but just barely. It is going to be Melman from Navi that finishes Ents off.
That was so impressive there from Tixu to be able to find the 2 knocks, but obviously Melbourne there with the third party able to confirm it instead. We should point out Asura, even as a solo, did pop up in the kill feed there, able to find himself an opening knock too, but it doesn't look like he's really going to try and confirm it too much, focusing on the heal instead. As SSG sharp shot, he's got a read onto Heroic, and they're a team you want to be taking out of the lobby as early as possible with their current position. There's 1 knock onto T-Bone, but they don't realize just how close Beamy's actually going to be. Nice barrel spray connects, but now he backs off and waits for the rest of his team to start closing things up. As we spoke about Liquid and Danawa potentially scrapping it out, as Liquid are going to be the first concede a knock.
Yeah, and Liquid is also dealing with Kaishin out to their southwest. Beamy, absolutely incredible right now with these 3x barrel sprays. And he is going to be finishing off another member of SSG. Heroic, a lot of eyes are definitely going to be in their direction, but they're just hitting everything they look at. Asura, in the meanwhile, trying to get down off that hill. No certain, nothing doing. It's going to be Spyro taking him out. And yeah, Rex still knocked her. That was quite a while ago that Rex was knocked by Team Liquid. So Danawa still trying to see if they can recover and get their teammate up. But it's going to be real difficult with the way that terrain slopes from west to north there. It gives Team Liquid a lot of vantage point down into that position that Rex is knocked in.
Yeah, Heroic on the rotate now. Lost 2 players over on that southern fight. SSG were more than happy to sponge those up, and now they have to continue with the rotate. After getting caught with a really big headshot there, Zanan nearly able to finish off the job. A spear from Ghibli posted up with a beautiful spray. So does Lambu. Down go Heroic out in 12th. The first place team are already out of things as Na'Vi try to backfill, but it doesn't really work out for them. They lose 2 players, and well, these days they're looking dangerous. That should be Ali out of the fight.
Yeah, I mean, right away you could see all members of Ghibli. It was grenades out. after Na'Vi settled up in that position. It's going to be Non from New Happy that finishes them. A few more grenades just in case. Ghibli here able to defend their territory very nicely against a couple different pushes there. Na'Vi and Heroic going to fall, trying to transition to the middle of the circle. Meanwhile, Team Liquid still on the edge, still trying to deal with Kai Shin, but Urine and Yuppie able to hang on by a thread so far. They've managed to get ahead of Team Liquid even now. So Team Liquid was really trying to make sure that Kai Shin was clear off of their backside, weren't able to convert on that, and that makes things a lot trickier now for Team Liquid.
Seems like Uran potentially a little bit preoccupied with those teams up to the north, but in the end does end up popping out the other side of the rock to get a knock onto Jeems, realizes that Liquid are going to be making a push if they do manage to find a knock or even a bit of damage, honestly. That's exactly what they'll do with the frag grenades. It's not going to be enough to actually find the knock just yet, but Lanren is going to be forced out of the fight to heal, and that allows Liquid now the opportunity start making a move. New Happy down to the south did land a couple shots, but it really is down to Kai Shin to try and catch them in a bit of a pinch. Uran could do something big here as Ming opens up onto Jeems. Now this could be the opening that Kai Shin were really looking for.
Hey, and they're getting a lot of help from a couple different teams right now. They've managed to get far enough ahead that Team Liquid has to cross open terrain, which means a lot of smokes are going to be needed here for them to get any further. You can see Spyro and New Happy all peppering into this. Now Lanren's trying to stand up and do something, but he's going to get taken down by Ibiza, and it's going to be Spyro from afar with a little help from ZP Yan here, getting some knocks onto them. Soul actually gets Urine from Kai Shin. They're going to go down. Now Clib looking for that res onto Ibiza. Going to be a difficult one to get here as Spyro continues to rain down from this position.
SSG fall down in 9th position, narrowly outside of placement, unfortunately for them, as Team Liquid try to take cover over at this remaining vehicle. That nade, though, from Mill is perfect. SSR going to be going out, and, well, the vehicle about to explode as well. Surely that should finish off the job. No, he gets away from it relatively safely, but the rest of GX now need to run down a very open hillside with a very angry Petrichor Road looking in this direction, knowing that they have to move out of the zone, and, well, if they get another knock onto GEX, then surely they're just going to be posting up for gatekeep.
Yeah, and then to make matters worse, underneath that, you have Ghibli. So for GX, it's going to be a tough run. Maybe they can find some way to swing down south, but they're suffering knocks left and right. It's really tough for them to find any kind of positioning, to gain any kind of ground. And yeah, Mill's going to finish off Savior there. Zenon pushes up behind the shack, sets his vehicle up for some extra cover, using the carry to try to get SSR somewhere safe for res. Going to take a quick look. Mill continuing to hammer down onto GEX. Yan Li takes a bunch of damage, but Mill pretty weak as well. SSR is going to bleed out, never able to find that res. Renba tries to get up and over, but he's going to get peppered on his backside as he looks to do some more damage.
Yeah, Pero, interesting to see the fact they actually moved out of this warehouse down in a very open area terrain to get involved onto GEX, but so far it's working. Mill going to be able to take down one, but Zenan is immediately there for the tray. Aches left throws up a nade of his own in the hopes of finishing off the job, but Zenan spots him out and he's forced to take refuge. Nan is still just waiting. He's not taking any shots yet. He's going to let these teams do damage onto each other, find that opening knock, and then he'll be more than happy to flush it out. Pero do need to get themselves the revive, but first they need to finish off GEX. That's exactly what they'll do, as New Happy now finally start to get involved, opening up shots. Frag grenades too. Lambo's gonna fall, as Liquid also falling out in 7th position.
And that New Happy being very patient and wisely so. They're waiting for the chaos to be reduced in this fight so they can take a cleaner one here against Ghibli, and then eventually probably Pero. Put Pero in a position where they have to kind of fight Ghibli as well. New Happy still has a huge terrain advantage in terms of height, in terms of cover. They have everything working for them in this fight. They don't need to over-aggress onto this. They can pepper teams from afar. Just don't get knocked, and everything should be okay. And yeah, meanwhile, you got VP just chilling up on the north side. I want to point this out. And also Penta as a solo, just vibing in that shack.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive to see Penta still making it in. Obviously, TSM conceding a lot of damage early. I think it was to KPI they ended up losing 2 knocks, so it's nice to see one of their players actually remaining in it. It looks like Ghibli, though, maybe in a bit of trouble. The Spear going to run into the Molotov, will be taken out. Mill is more than happy to finish off the job there, as well the zone's centered up. Penta still as a solo remains in, but New Happy now starting to creep up from below. Could cause some problems. They have to focus over onto Ghibli, though, as the spray comes through onto Ren, but it's just not enough to finish the job. But Ming is going to use this bit of respite from Petrichor Road to get over that ridge, close the distance, and well, it looks like as soon as Ghibli push over this ridge, they're going to be there for the third party.
Yeah, Aches left there, standing tall against Lambu, going to shut his push down, and New Happy finding a really good time to gain some territory, to gain some space here, even though they were under the purview of Petrichor Road. Shortly, they have now gotten ahead, not taking too much damage in that cross, and now they have a great position to just barricade Petrichor Road out of this. Ming's going to be knocked and should be, even if ZP doesn't get the finish, you can't quite see him through the trees, but even if he doesn't get it there, it should come soon. Meanwhile, Akeslef just trying to find something in this circle to be safe, but he's not going to find it. It's going to be Batulins taking him out.
Nicely done there, as Petrichor Road do end up falling. New Happy obviously have been posted up in such a strong position for the longest time. They have to be the favorites. They still have a bit of a ridge to work with, but I'm not sure whether they even know about Penta's position. He's been laying prone, chilling in the shack for the longest time. He's salvaged a decent number of points here for TSM, so they've got to be feeling good about themselves. As Nan over on the roof of the long building for New Happy, just anchoring, trying to get a bit of info onto Virtus Pro, but I think because Virtus Pro haven't really had to fight for the longest time, there's maybe going to be a lack of information for New Happy.
Yeah, I think New Happy, you can see right now, HS is checking on his left. He's not too sure if somebody's on the other side of that road still. There is enough of that in the circle that maybe somebody was proning that out, trying to get a flank position. But New Happy going to use this opportunity. They know that nobody's super close to them, except me. I don't know if they know Penta's position precisely, but they can use this opportunity to gear up, get fresh vests and armor, get those smokes, get those frags, get everything you need for this final fight to try to take control of this. And I love what Zephion's doing here. You can see that hill right next to that rock, going to be a pretty important position, likely in the next circle. It's going to be phase 8 next. Pretty likely to not change the dynamics a lot unless it really hard shifts up to the northwest.
It's going to be a tricky one, as now VP just playing on the very edge of the zone. It definitely seems like, in terms of control, New Happy really starting to run the game here as HSM moves up a little bit further. Once he's grabbed this ridge, it really backs VP into a corner that can only be broken out of with maybe smokes or a vehicle push. And it actually looks like that's the play that Virtus Pro are going to go for right now. Throwing down plenty of smokes, getting that wall up, and now getting ready to make a rotate in that car, as the zone obviously pulling it down towards New Happy. Has left Penta still alive, still as a solo, but not for long. He tried to get the jump, but at the last second the kill comes through. HSM opening up with a knock as well, as Perfectix goes down, so does Lou. Virtus Pro, only 2 players left up, doing what they can to try and salvage things. Spyro laying prone, has to go for the heal, but now New Happy, they realize the crash has come through. They're more than happy to get involved onto this one. Ming with a really nice spray, and now it's all down to Batulins as a solo. We've seen him clutch it out before, but in this position, a 1 versus 4, backed against the zone, completely surrounded. You got to be favoring New Happy. Out comes the nade, and that might just be the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah.